What's going on, people? I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. I'm dejected. I mean, I brought my boy Roms to make me feel better. How you doing, Roms? How you doing, man?
I'm the same as you. It's just. First of all, thanks for having me on your channel, and I'm just happy I can dissect this game with another knowledgeable Liverpool fan because I'm exactly like you. That just the last 10, 12 hours I've just been down. You know.
Yeah, I understand, man. I think the performance it was yesterday, the way we played, even though we had a decent spell in the first half, it wasn't good enough, especially against a team like Real Madrid. You need to be clinical, and we just didn't have that clinical edge in the end, and that's a shame. It's a damn shame, but it is what it is, man. But firstly, I have to get through the housekeeping as always. First of all, like and subscribe if you're new, and put down in the comments what you're feeling right now and how you feeling. How do you think we should bounce back from this and all this kind of stuff, man? But firstly, we go through the game. I'll give a little bit of a synopsis. First half, in the first 20 minutes, we were quite decent. We made a couple of good opportunities, and we created a good opportunity for us to score, which hit the post by Sadio Mane, and quite a lot of the shots were right at Thibaut Courtois. Then the second half of the first half, they ended up scoring a goal. Whether it was offside or onside, I thought it was offside. I think it was a deflection. I always thought if it was deflection and onto another deflection, it's still a deflection. So
exactly.
So it is what it is, man. It's tough. It's a tough one to swallow. But they got Pablo in the chat, man. Always here whenever we're winning or losing. And yeah, it is what it is. We have to go through this game. But second half, look, the less we talk about the second half, the better. I think. You can give us a little bit of a.
For me, it was just stale, and I've always said we adore Klopp, we love Klopp, but sometimes he can be a genius with no common sense, and I do feel like sometimes he can be his own biggest downfall in a sense. He can be very arrogant. There was things he could have changed, and he's quite stubborn to his ways. Because let's be honest, Ram, that second half could have been another half an hour. We were just not scoring. I just couldn't see it. I tried to have hope. There was a guy next to me close to tears. I said, "Have hope. We can come. Hopefully, come back." Deep down, I knew we couldn't, but you start to have that hope. And then I don't want to pinpoint anyone, because one thing I will say, and I'll get into it from early, it's easy for rival fans to get onto Salah. I don't actually think he had a bad game. He didn't have a great game, but I didn't think he had a bad game. But when you're coming out with comments like that before the final, months before the final, saying I want revenge, you have to put in a better performance. But I don't think it was dire. Put it like this: I think Salah's had worse performances this year, but Naby Keita, I tried to back him, and this has been his first season where he's predominantly stayed injury-free, but I don't put it like this: if we was to let him go, I wouldn't miss him that much, because you've got to do better with that shot in that moment. And it was just very stale. That the performance overall was just very stale. And just touching on the first half, it's kind of been the story of our season. Dominate the first 20 minutes, have an excellent 20 minutes, but there's still no goal to show for it. But like you said, the less we speak about the second half, the better. It was tough to take. It was tough to take.
I think it all does come down to bottle, man. And yeah, I think our players in that game were a little bit too emotional, in my opinion. You think about, I mean, Trent. I think Trent defensively overall was quite decent. It's just that
exactly.
It's just that
easy for these agendas, because all I saw on the TL and people, Salah yet again, no goals in the final from open play. Trent bad defensively. They actually work. Like we're actually watching them. We watch them all season, every game. And sorry to cut. Just this last point. I do hear this perspective because of that. Trent was, for me, decent the whole game, but that one lapse in concentration is literally the difference. It's about fine margins, but performance-wise, I don't. How people are getting onto Salah and Trent, I don't think they're as bad as what people were saying.
I'd say offensively, Trent wasn't the real Trent that we know. Defensively, he was actually quite good. Defensively, he was quite good. I mean, a lot of the tough stuff that was coming down the right hand side, and he had to do his job. He did it very well.
Exactly.
His interceptions were very good, but again, it's the finals, all about the moments, and he didn't.
Exactly.
And he didn't show up in one of them moments, and it will cost you dearly, especially something the way the goal that we conceded, something like that. You need to be on top of your game. We gave him all his plaudits in the FA Cup final because he was on his game, but we need it in the biggest games, and he didn't show up. He didn't show up. But when it comes to Mo Salah, I need to say this: if you wanna talk your talk, you better do on the pitch.
Exactly.
And he didn't do.
Exactly.
And the way he was talking, if he wasn't talking, it would be like, oh, okay, fine. You had a couple of good shots, but you can say Courtois saved them all. But you have to say, you wanted Madrid, you best be showing up. And he didn't play to the normal standard of a world-class footballer.
Exactly.
So that's that. I think the only player that I could say that could hold their head up high in this game is probably Konate.
You again, and this is why I was changing my mind every day this past week. Konate start. Actually, I want Matt to start. Actually, I want Konate to start. I want Matt to start. I thought Konate was excellent, and yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone else, and you're actually spot on. I think the only you see Fabinho, right? I knew. Let's be honest, Ram. You'll rather risk a 50% Fabinho and Thiago instead of not playing them at all. But we know Fabinho needs a run of games to get going. I always knew he wouldn't have his best game in this game, but you still like his presence because it's facts. Whenever Fabinho's come back from a lengthy injury for us, he get his second game ain't the greatest, and the third and fourth you start to see the best Fabinho. And Casemiro kind of showed him, look, you're not fit. This is how you do the DM role. And him and Thiago, I'm not going to say I felt sorry for them, but the magnitude of that game and them two not being 100%, I kind of knew they wouldn't be at the peak of their powers. But I agree with you. The only player I can say actually that held their hands up high was Konate. I thought Konate was immense, and this is just going to do him the world of good and build his confidence up even more.
Absolutely, man. But we have to talk about this news. I don't want to talk about no Champions League. I think it is what it is. It's done. We have to move on from it. We got 2 trophies. Whether they're as prestigious as we want it to be, that's a different story. But we still got 2 trophies. But all we want is either the Prem or the Champions League. And that's the kind of club that we are. We want the big trophies in the end. But I need to go on to this, man. I need to go on to this. So Fabrizio Romano's come out and said that Sadio Mane is going to be leaving Liverpool Football Club. It's going to happen. No doubt about it. He's not going to be extending his contract and he'll be leaving this summer. Ron. Thoughts. That's it, man.
Before I give you my thoughts, do you think the result played a part? Because me personally, I think he was leaving regardless. If we won, he would leave on a high. If we lost, it's a bit more bitter. But I just want to ask you that question. Did you think the result didn't really matter? He was leaving regardless.
I think so. I think the club already had their mind set on him leaving. I think they were already planning what's going to happen after Mane. I think it was always going to happen. He was going to move no matter what. And look, it's painful, man. Because what this guy has done for the club for the last 5 or 6 years has been incredible. He was the first real statement signing we made and no one thought he was going to be at the level that he is now,
Yes,
or
yeah.
what he become. And see him go when we're because we're not. The thing is, this squad is not done yet. People say it'll
100%.
be done, but they still got minimum 2 years left or a year left in them.
Yeah.
So when you see the stars slowly starting to fall away and rip apart from one another, it's just sad to see. And we have to prepare for next season. We need to replace him somehow, whether it is getting a number 9 or whether it's getting someone like an Nkunku. I don't mind. I
100%.
need someone of the quality, man.
And this is why it's sad as well, Ram. He's won everything there is to win at us. Like you said, 6 years is a long time at a club, whatever club you're at. 6 years is a very long time. And I've seen a lot of stuff on the TL from Liverpool fans. They don't mind seeing him leave. Some saying he wasn't even going to have a main role next season. I think that's nonsense because the evolution of Mane, the way he's made that false 9 position his own. I don't know about you, Ram. I know a lot of people want that killer striker, that potent striker, but let's be real. One, there's not a lot of them around anymore. And two, I do feel Mane in that false 9 role for us next season would have got a lot of goals because if you deep it, this is about 20 to 30 goals in all competitions we're missing out on. We need to replace that type of player now. And there's been we're going to get into transfers, but there has been a few names. I agree. I'd love to see Nkunku here entering his peak. Ousmane Dembele, let me say this. The only reason I know he's injury prone, I know you're about to smirk. I know he's injury prone, Ram. However, on a free, there's 2 problems with this. Because for me, because we don't have to pay a fee, that's why I can kind of accept it. But there are 2 problems with transfer, and you'll agree. He's injury prone, and I feel like he's going to ask for stupid wages. And if he does ask for stupid wages, yeah, you can forget about it. Because for a player that's injury prone, it doesn't make sense. I was reading a stat. I don't think he's played more than, I think, 25 games in a season. It's crazy. But this is an unpopular opinion. I've always said he's had the more natural ability out of him and Mbappe, but Mbappe was just more serious about football and he's evolved earlier. But if we was to keep Ousmane Dembele fit, Ram, I've rated him for years from Dortmund days. Him and Klopp have a good connect. That's the one pro we have. There's cons, but there's pros because I know he's been late for Barcelona training and PK and Busquets. Some of the seniors have had to speak to him and they're upset with him. But he's never had that good rapport with a manager there. Klopp knows him. Klopp actually knows him. So there are pros and cons to Ousmane Dembele, but I can hear why LFC fans wouldn't want him and I can hear why they would. I would, based off his sheer ability and just that hope that he stays fit. But I'm like you. If I had a number 1, it would be Christopher Nkunku, 100%. 100%. I think you're on mute.
I just realized I was on mute. I need to bring in my boy Saint because my man, we need every Liverpool fan for this therapy, man.
Listen, I'm here. I'm in the chat and that, but there's no way that I couldn't even jump in and just like give my words of support to my guy. This is my don. Both of these guys, Ram, Roms, like love you both. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm just trying to do up. I'm just trying to do up daddy daycare of my little one and try and not even really like, do you know what I mean? Indulge in the football, but I just couldn't, brother. I was just drawn. I said, nah, I have to come and say something. Like, very quickly, in terms of the Sadio thing, I'm gonna come out and say, as much as it hurts and as much as I'm sad to see him go, I'm ready for it. I'm not even gonna lie, like I'm ready for it, innit? Like it needs to happen. I'd much rather do this than use Sadio and we get him and we sell him for nothing. And I know it hurts. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to see Sadio as a main starter next year in our forward line. We need a real shake up. Like, and I think this summer will show us where we are in terms of our aspirations. We are an outstanding team who've done really, really well. It just so happens that we've got City and you know what I mean? But you can't stand on your laurels in this game. You have to be moving forward. And I think this summer will show me whether FSG and the board and all of that are in a place where it's like, guys, we're great. We just got to keep on going and maybe something will happen. Or if they are actually in a position to be like, nah, enough's enough. We actually need to start doing something and, do you know what I mean? Really shake up our thing. And a front line of Bobby, Salah and Sadio Mane after 6 years is not it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know some people are gonna.
Same thing I asked Ram. Me and him both agree. Do you feel that the result last night was irrelevant? Mane was always leaving.
Yeah, I think it was irrelevant. If I'm honest with you, it just hurts. It would have been nice. We would have taken it better. Do you know what I mean? It would have been on a high. But in all honesty, I think it was irrelevant. I think he was going. Regardless, just due to the limit on how we're using him and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And like at the end of the day, you know, I was speaking to Ish, and Ish said, you know what? It's like it's like we've squeezed the last out of the rag. Do you know what I mean? Not to say that Mane's a rag, but do you know what I mean? Like, generally speaking, the guy has been immense for us for 6 years. Enough is enough. I don't want to see just to quickly say this as well, yeah. I don't want to see Salah as a main starter next season either. To be honest with you, I don't know where that puts us, because to have Salah not as a main starter but asking for the money which he's asking for obviously doesn't work out. But I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. Not another season of 38 games when this guy's median, you know what I mean, more than half. Nah.
Does that play into the Ousmane Dembele thing? If we do get him as a backup, does that play into the hands of Salah can get more rest, and then Dembele can come in and be the backup? It's not as though Dembele is a bad player. I don't think your opinion is that bad. I think a lot of French people who know a lot about Mbappe and Dembele know that Dembele is the more technically gifted player out of Mbappe and himself. So doesn't that play into the hands? If we do get Dembele, there's no longer a need for Salah to be the main guy.
The main guy, yeah. But this is what I was going to counter Saint with, right? I've got 2 questions for you, Saint, because I hear not starting Mane for next season. However, the way he's evolved in that false 9, don't you still see him getting that 20 to 30 goals all competitions for next season? Because we have to replace goals. I remember it's hard to find a wide man that puts up the numbers that Salah and Mane. And that's also what I'll say to your point about Salah. I can hear you. He has been stinky for the past 6 months. However, in all the metrics, goals, assists, he is still up there. And to replace goals and assists in this market, bro, it's harder than ever. I just want to know your thoughts on both of them.
No, you're right. It's a very expensive currency, both of those things. You're very, very right. However, I think going back to what Ram says, I do think that the inclusion of Ousmane Dembele would help out on that, because Salah's made it. Yeah, Salah, like I've said, Salah's made that right wing is probably the most unattractive position in England football, in English football. Let's be honest. Like, you couldn't. I'm trying to think of another one there isn't, bro. That right wing of that Liverpool's right wing is unattractive, bro. Like, no one ain't trying to, oh no, but you got Salah there, like, man ain't seen it. Do you know them ones there? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
maybe DM, but then you could just bring in some young guy to come in.
Exactly. And because of Fabinho, and because I hear you, but you know that we're not getting 38 games. Or if Klopp's trying to play Fabinho 38 games this season, I will probably be like, big man, what are you doing? And that's not because of talent. That's just because of how it is. So whoever you want, there is little scope in the DM role, especially because his backup is Henderson. You're like, I could squeeze in there. But right wing, bro, there's no one that's like, yeah, you know what, man's going to come. Like, and that has to fucking change. That has to change. I'm sorry. And in terms of, I hear where you're going, Roms. I do think that we need someone else that is as good, impactful as it's not a Salah, substitute. No, it's someone that's as good, as dangerous, as potent, as, do you know what I'm saying? Like, someone that can sit there and we can, because let's be honest, Salah's he's not standing his marker up. Salah ain't bro. Why is it when Salah's on a one-on-one, he tries to go through the middle? Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? Take him off.
What's the game the other
byline.
day? What's the game the day we were going mad where he was running in on goal and he tried to cut back? I forgot the game.
Into the
The Wolves game.
even this one.
It was Wolves.
Yeah,
It was Wolves.
even the final, he did that as well. I was like, brother, just take him to the byline, cut in, and do you know the ones there? Like, open up, bro. We're starting to see it. We're starting to see it, bro. Like you know when you got a girl, yeah, and like they're like, oh my god, like I'm not really that great with money. I'm a bit, and you're like, yo, boy, you're so buff. Like the ones there, I don't even understand what's going on. And then you get with them, and then you're bankrupt, and they're like, and you think back, and you're like, oh, she did show me herself. I just wasn't in a position to really listen when she, brother. Salah's showing you more and more. Do you know them ones there, like and Mane, and that's why when you said about the Mane thing, I honestly don't think Mane gives you as much. I don't think Mane's washed. I think he's sick, but I don't think he gives you as much next season because unfortunately, I do think that there is a limit. Do you know what I mean to some of it, and people don't want to hear that. People are way too sentimental, and they don't want to hear, "No, you're chatting shit about Mane, do this and Mane do." I get that. I get that Mane saved a little bit more life in his career having moved to the number 9. But do I now think that he's fucking amazing? And he's no. I do think that there could be slightly something better. In all honesty, it just I just feel like this. Like I said, this summer is very very important for us. I don't know who these people are, if I'm not being honest with you, but I just know that we need to change it up, bro. We need to change it up. Actually, I say I don't know who it is, but I probably do. To be fair, Harry Kane, that's who it is. That one's there.
That's the dream, man. That is the dream.
We'll have to make him an astronomical offer though, because Conte's staying now. They've got Champions League. We still know he probably won't win as much as he'd like, and he would win. Imagine him in our team. It's cash money, but we'll have to offer him a stupid wage. But the one thing with Harry Kane and Salah, cool. This season probably he had his first bad spell, but he's giving you a 7 and 8 out of 10 minimum every game. So that's one player. If he was to say 300 grand a week, why not? Because you know what you're getting with him. Salah is that you're up in the air nowadays.
Yeah, but it is, man. It is. And going back to the Ousmane Dembele thing, the injury is the only thing that really worries me on him as well.
That's what I was saying to Ram. Saying the two worries, because when I first said it to Ram kind of do that look like, no, Rob, I'm not really too sure. But there's pros and cons to it, say, because the two cons. Injuries, and he'll ask for. I don't know how much he's on at Barca, but Barca give big wages, so not anymore. But they were when they signed him.
I can have a look.
Whilst I carry on with this, have a look, because I feel like it will be quite a lot, and he will ask for a lot because he's still quite young. What, 24, 25? Like, I don't even think he's entered his peak yet, and yeah. So his injuries and the wages he'll ask for, saying. However,
just turned 25.
See, you know what I mean? But however, his rapport with Klopp knows him. And I was saying to Ram, at Barca, coming late to training, playing Xbox, whatnot, not taking football seriously, and the seniors at Busquets speaking to him, it's almost like he didn't really care. And he never had that good rapport with a manager at Barca. Klopp, you probably saw the best of Ousmane Dembele his whole career at Dortmund. And maybe his first 6 months Barca. I do feel if he comes and Klopp, we all know how Klopp is with player management. He'll put his arm around you and he'll get the best out of players. The only thing is, do you want to take a risk on a player that is injury prone? And you're right. We just have to hope he comes and pray.
But for no peas on there,
That's what I'm saying.
For no peas on there still,
and that may enable us to offer him more wages, but the only thing is we've got a wage structure and other players still might then ask for more, so we've got to be careful with that one. Because one of my friends said to me this morning, are you inclined to sell him both Salah and Mane this summer?
Yeah,
and I didn't straight away say no. I eventually said no, because again, that's about 50 goals you're losing a season.
I hear that, but like I said, if I'm honest with you, it would be different if I didn't have the faith I have in my manager. But I think that we have arguably the best manager in the world. Like, earn your change now, innit? Do you know them ones there? Like, I would feel better. Do I want to lose both Salah and Mane? No. But would I feel better in not offering Salah, who I've already come out and said, Salah to me ain't a nailed on starter next season. As in, hopefully we have someone who can. Right now, yes, he is because we don't have no one else. But I'm saying we get in a position where he don't have to be. And if that's the case, then why are you walking out? Why are you sitting on my bench with 450k, 350k a week? No, and I just don't think Salah is in a position to not have that. So ultimately, we will be in a position to lose both of them. Not that I want them gone, but I'm happier with not having Sadio Mane and Salah, having someone else that Klopp feels is confident in, and our wage structure is all good, and we move forward, and we've got the rebuild, as opposed to having Salah there on 400k. And that's how I see it. I'm just not on sentimental FC. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm not a Sadio Mane fan per se or a Salah fan per se. I'm a Liverpool FC fan, and that's what I think generally moving forward. Brother, these men have got flipping my youth from River Plate, Haaland. Like, we've got to get really onto it. You know them ones there? We've got to be really serious, bro. Or we're going to be the sidemen again.
You know why I completely agree with you, Saint? Because it's that comes to the point. We don't spend, like I was saying to Ram, we don't spend like City, United, Chelsea, whatnot. But there comes a point where you kind of have to suck it up and break the bank. I'm not saying to go mad, but if you want to be competing with these, it's facts. The more money you spend domestically, anyway, you will get success. And I feel like this summer, because it's not that we spend crazy every summer. This summer we have to. And one thing I would say, if we was to sell Salah and Mane, because of their
guys, on a quick one, I got a cut out and jump in the comments, man. My little one wants to start doing renditions and singing and all of that, bro. Hey, Ram, come on, man. Ram and Rons, love you, man. Please make sure you're supporting my guys, hitting the like button, subscribing, and all of that. Love you, man.
All right, bless, man. Thanks for coming on, man. But on that, I'll just had a look at his wages. He's on £210,000 a week.
Is that euros or British sterling?
To British sterling, so it will be about 275,000 euros.
My God, see.
Yeah. So it'll be a bit sticky, but is whether the case that will he be willing to take a pay cut? Will he? And if we can somehow urge him to do it, I'm all for it. But is it going to be possible? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you. He wouldn't want to, especially at that age. Maybe feels that in his 30s, and he knew. Do you know what I mean? He knew that you need to understand he's entering his peak, and it's a World Cup year. He's not been in the frame. He didn't go to France's last major tournament, did he? No, I don't think he's at the Euro. I think he was injured. Yeah. So he's going to want. Ousmane Dembele is going to want to go to a club he knows he's guaranteed starting. For me, he guaranteed starts for us. But yeah, that's why I want to keep Salah, because I do feel what will happen is same thing that happened with Mane. When Luis Diaz came in and he realized he had competition, his game rose. Even though he had to switch to another position, his game naturally rose. And I feel like if Ousmane Dembele comes and Salah thinks, you know what? This guy is technically better than me. He's going to give me a run for my money. Salah's game will naturally rise again, and we will see the Salah we know. I don't agree with selling Salah. That's one thing I'll say. Mane, I can hear, but I just think about goals and currency. And one thing I'll say about Salah, cool, he's been poor the last 6 months, but his numbers every season have been the same, and I don't think that will stop next season. That's why I'm opposed to selling him.
Going back to the point of the Mane deal, yeah. And this is from Dominic King, and he's pretty reliable in a sense. It's like, just on a word on Sadio Mane, he hasn't told Liverpool that he wants to leave, and it's going to take a lot of money, more than 35 M's, for them to do business with Bayern Munich. This, though, looks like very much the beginning of the end of this alliance. So, one thing that we agree on, if Mane is to go, we need some serious money. We need serious money from him. We don't want to sell him for around about £35 million, the same amount that we paid for him, because he's a lot better than that money. So,
and even with a year left, we have to. Sorry, Ram, I'm just flicking over in the background. Nadal got a set.
That's my go. That's my go. That is my go. You know what? One thing I'd be happy if Real Madrid were to win. My goat's happy, and I'm happy. So that's a little bit of a win for them, but it's still a little bit, not a lot. But pick up Benjamin Pop. So he makes a good comment right here. Yeah. Herein lies the problem. We as fans straight into the financial statements. We should not have to be accountants as fans. Do you think we are being too Mr. Krabs, as the right way to say it, too money pinching? Do you think we're just carrying too much? We should just demand the players that we need to get in.
Yes, but I do hear big up Bayern. Forest has just scored. Sorry, Forest has just scored, Ram. I want Forest up, but I hear that you do have to add. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, just for one thing, I was meant to be at the game, but I was too upset to go. So there's that. At least my dad's celebrating. That's one thing.
No, that's good.
But go on, Roms. Back to what you're saying.
I hear we shouldn't be accounted as fans, but sometimes you just have to apply context to it. Like, you have to be realistic. Certain players know their worth and they know what they want to earn, what they should be sold on for, etc., etc. And also, I love how our clubs run. I love that we can always, last 3 to 4 years, be competing with the likes of City, Chelsea, with a lesser budget. But it does come a point where, first of all, in this market, I can see this market going crazier and crazier. And it's going to come a point where you do have to pay what the club feel the players worth. Players do have a lot of player power nowadays, but I do feel this summer we are going to have to break the bank. And I hear what you're saying, Bayern Pops LFC. I'm half Bayern as well, so pick yourself up. But to a degree, we have to. We shouldn't have, but you have to look at the game like that, because that's the way the game's going. That's the way the game's evolving. Like, if you ask me, do I think it's good? No, it's not. It's very money orientated nowadays, but it's the way it's going.
Yeah. But last but not least, I need to bring in my boy, Monts.
Big up.
What are you doing, man? I see you hitting the 1K, 1.04K subscribers, man. Big up your damn self. What you saying, man? What you saying?
Appreciate you, man. It's a hard time for the man, them. Obviously, you got to hold tight. You got to stay together. Obviously, no face cam for me. Man, I don't get to see my face until Liverpool pattern up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's one of them. It's one of them ones, isn't it? Like, rival fans don't get to see my team.
But Mod, I need to ask you, yeah? Mr. Sadio Mane. Looks very much like the beginning of the end of this alliance, man. What's your thoughts?
I don't know what to say, bro. I don't know what to say in it. Like, what can you say with it? It's the end of an era. I just think if he's going, it's so dependent on the replacement, how that can shape our season. Big up Bayern Pops, by the way, my doggy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm very on edge about like just how it's gonna play out. I hope if he does leave, it all goes gracefully. I hope it doesn't turn sour in any sort of way because of what he's done for the club. I hope there's no narrative painted that Liverpool fans didn't appreciate Mane. Honestly, like, I think the magnifying glass on our fan base at the moment is very, very potent. So anything we say is easily taken out of context, and can be easily used against us. Hence why I'm mostly just advising everyone to just talk to Liverpool fans, and unless you have a channel where you have rival fans, just do your best and stick around each other in it, because the Mane news is devastating. You got Origi out the door as well. So now suddenly we're looking towards Fabrizio Romano every night. We're looking towards James Pearson and co, because realistically, a number of our goals did come from Mane. A number of our a large portion of our fear factor comes from Sadio Mane. Playing well or not playing well, he just has fear factor regardless. Because looking at him from a rival perspective, you think, all right, he could be having a bad game, but switches it on, you're in trouble. You saw him switch it on for 5 minutes against Madrid, hits the inside of the post. You know what I mean? When he did that in the final, I had flashbacks of how fast he cut in.
Yeah.
That one gave me flashbacks. You know what I'm saying? Even, do you know what's so mad? And coming from me, even when Bobby come on, and I'm going to say this when I'm running the show a bit later, and then obviously, man, I'm free to join. But when Bobby come on and Mane went out to the left, I was panicking, innit? But for me, Mane and Salah on the left were like men possessed. For that last 10 minutes, they looked good. Mane he squared up Carvajal, and I promise you, he beat him to the byline every time.
True. That's
and
true.
I said it, and you man know, I said it as a left winger are done.
Yeah. And Mots, this is what I was saying as well, right? Rival fans, it's easy. There's agendas. I've said they didn't have an amazing game, but there's these agendas from rival fans. Salah and Trent, for me, were not that bad yesterday. They weren't great.
Salah had a good game. Salah had a good game.
Exactly.
Salah about this. Salah had a better game than Benzema.
There you go.
But do you know? Sorry, Rams. Just to say, do you know why he will get the stick? It's because he talked. It's because he opened his mouth. Literally.
That's his downfall. And the thing with Trent, this has been a pattern recently. Going forward, he's not been what we know him for, but he's been good defensively. But it's fine margin. That one lapse in concentration is what cost us. But I think Trent defensively, word to what you said, Ram, earlier, he was excellent. But it's fine margin.
Honestly, excellent. When he stopped Benzema, when he reversed cut, when he tried to do the little cut in, like, do you know?
Mons, don't forget there was a time where Benzema played the through ball in and he cut it out. He made an interception. And it would have been 1-0 at the first half. If it wasn't for him.
Mm-hmm.
But
when he was on the final stretch,
I think it's the system wise. We need to find a right balance between him going forward and him defending. That's for me. That's how I see it. But this whole thing that he can't defend is just like, if everyone has had their lapses in judgment. If everyone has it and they end up conceding after that, then everyone's a crap defender. That's all I got to say. Like Reece James had his lapses in judgment, but for some reason, luckily, they don't capitalize off it. But when it comes to Trent, it feels as though they always capitalize. But it is what it is. Apparently, he's just a bad defender. If you look at Joao Cancelo, how did he let Matty Cash win a header against you when he's 5'6"?
Yeah.
Like,
The agenda's in it. No one want to speak about James and Cancelo
because it don't suit the narrative. Look, there's never been a defender, probably only defender I can only say that's top notch, like going defensively, they're absolutely excellent. It's probably Philip Lahm. That's it. I can't think of anyone else who's a right back or a left back, and maybe Ashley Cole as well, who defensively was rock solid. Like nothing will get past them. I can't think of anyone else. Mm-hmm. Even people say Reece James. I mean, my man, when he's playing in the back four, my man looks suspicious. Like Kieran Tierney was turning him inside and out like a ballerina. Mm-hmm. But people won't have those conversations, man. But it is what it is. But Mons, we're talking about the Mane leaving. What would be your ideal region of money? Just to reiterate, Dominic King has said it would take a lot more money than 35 M's to get him. Take him from us. It's not. This is not the end of the saga. It's just the beginning.
Mane in the Bundesliga right now, I'll be honest, is going back up to 20 goals a season. You think I'm offloading a man that can bag 20 plus for you domestically for 35 M's? Don't fucking piss me off. Don't violate me. Don't violate me in my club.
How about this? What about 35 M's plus Robert Lewandowski?
Yeah, deal.
You would take that money.
That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer, bro. And like we were saying earlier, people need to calm down because as much as people don't mind Mane leaving, you are losing 20 to 25 goals the reason why I say that is the way he's evolved in that false nine. Because let me ask you something once, same thing I asked Ram. Do you feel him being a star in that false nine role for us next season, he still hits higher numbers?
Yeah.
Exactly. So if we got a swap deal with Robert Lewandowski, that again, goals are currency. So I think that's a no-brainer. That's not even a question for me. That's actually got me a bit excited. In the past 16 hours, I've just been down. The thing, I don't know how true it is. Lewandowski's kind of said that boyhood Liverpool fan. He's kind of like has that finish, but I feel like sometimes players just say that to say that. But he said it in a time he didn't have to say it. So, and you know what? The Barca situation, Barca don't seem too keen on him and serious anyway. So we should actually explore that.
Yeah, I think. Remember, we lost the final. We signed Fabinho and Ali.
Within the next week, exactly.
Mm-hmm. There will be a response from Liverpool. As I said, now we just have to hold it right now. We literally have to hold it down, give ourselves therapy like what we're doing now, and just try and miss out the agendas a little bit. Because at the end of the day, Liverpool played a great game yesterday. I'm not saying like we were scintillating, we weren't at our best, but Liverpool played well. Courtois had a blinder. In a one-off game, that is football and it can happen. Yeah. That's why I'm urging my fellow Liverpool fans, just don't panic. It's not as bad as it seems. It hurts. It's heartbreaking. It's a Champions League final. If you're willing to win big, you have to lose big. Do you know what I'm saying?
Once quickly, yeah. I don't know if you listened before, but there's pros and cons to it. I'll reiterate what I think about it, but what do you think of Ousmane Dembele?
Massive fan. But it's his attitude. And obviously, like, a couple Frenchmen are a bit funny, innit? Like, as I said, man has links to certain camps and certain teams. And I know how some of the Frenchmen go on, fam. They're mad both. So, I don't know if Klopp's going to fuck with that,
Go on.
Just to echo Rome's, yeah, with a manager like Jurgen Klopp, I mean, because Tuchel got a massive tune out of him. There was a reason why they pay 120 M's. And we all agree Klopp is a better manager than Tuchel, no?
Mm-hmm.
With a manager like Klopp, with a young player like that, who has the world at his feet. I mean, he's not really young, but he's lost his way a bit. I think he can sort him. I think he can sort him out.
Again, you've heard this. You've heard me say this 2-3 times now, but just like I said, if you weigh up the pros and cons, the cons are injury prone, and he will ask for mad wages, and you know what our wage structure is like. So injury prone and mad wages is what I hear a lot of Liverpool fans think. Oh no, and you can say attitude, but like I said, Monch, yeah, we saw the best of Ousmane Dembele at Dortmund. Who was the manager? Klopp. Yeah. When has he played his best football? Under Klopp. We know how Klopp's man management is as well. He'll put his arm around you and make you believe you're the best. And Monch, I don't know if you agree. I've always said he's the naturally better footballer out of him and Mbappe. But the only thing is,
Mbappe said that himself. Mbappe said that himself.
Exactly. Like, but Mbappe's application to the game, and he's just more serious. Like, the amount of times Busquets and PK and like the seniors at Barca had to pattern him up. Like, why are you turning up late for training? He's there on his Xbox and that live streaming. Like, but I don't think he'll do that with us. I would love him, and I was saying to Ram, the same way Diaz came in and elevated Mane thought, shit, I'm not comfy anymore. I think he'll do the same to Salah on that side. Salah will think, yeah, I'm not a guaranteed starter now. This guy's probably even better than me. But I would love him. But again, it's a risk because I don't want to sign him. We've only seen him for 10 games a year. Like, and that's why I don't probably think we won't.
And it was Thiago's fitness that let us down today. So
there you go.
So you know. But lads, I do have to shoot in it. And if anyone wants, I'm gonna be holding a show around 6ish. I'll you know, man, I'll let you know in the group chat 1-to-1 in it.
Yeah, man.
But I just got bare things I need to do. But I just have to chime in on with my boy Rams, and just chop it off for a little bit.
All blessed, man.
But lads, big up yourselves. Stay strong, and I'll see you a little bit later if you're still on streaming. Love.
Yeah, man. Big up, Mons. Big up.
Like and sub, people. Love.
Yeah, like and sub to Big Six Bands if you haven't already, man. Come on. We're doing this up here, man. Right. But just want to put up the news about this potential Ousmane Dembele stuff. There has been a lot of claims of Ousmane Dembele coming in.
The last hour or so, Ram, since about 3 p.m., it's everywhere.
Yeah, everyone is. And a lot of people have been saying it's between Dembele and Darwin Nunez. It's whether it's out of these two who we're going to get. So
I heard Benfica want silly money though.
It's 85 M's, 85 million euros. It's too much money.
Exactly. Like, let's be real. He's a brilliant footballer, but that's what you pay for, a world-class, proven player. Like,
yeah,
that doesn't sit well with me. 85. That's the only benefit of Ousmane Dembele. We won't be paying a fee. That is, and that's why I'm kind of here for it.
I can hear that as well. I can hear it, man. But what would be your ideal summer in terms of profiler signings? What type of players do you want? So whether it be a centre midfielder, right back, centre back.
I want 2 8s. I'm saying from now, I want 2 8s because I think not 1, 2. Because I think Ox will leave. Milner's still in the air, but like I said, for me, even if he does sign a year extent, he apparently said he wants to go to a team where he still kind of has a say and he gets a decent run of games. But we don't know about Milner's situation just yet, but I think his influence, I don't know if he got inside training and feel that he's a very big influence on the squad. But I did want Tchouaméni, my opinion, right? Let's be real. Real Madrid are a bigger club than us. For me, Tchouaméni's mind was made up. He was going Madrid even before that final. Now, after the final, the two clubs that won him, he's probably looking at Real Madrid that I was going to you anyway, and now you've actually picked the other team that wants me. And he also knows they have an age in midfield, so he walks into both teams. But like I said, Real Madrid and Barca, the pinnacle of football. Most kids dream of that. Even Tchouaméni being French, Zidane, probably the greatest French player ever, icon of the club. It just kind of makes sense. He probably will have a lot of French. Benzema. Who else?
We've only got Ibu, innit?
We got a lot of French speaking players, but actually a compatriot is only Ibu. I can't think of the top of my head, but wait, Ferland Mendy's French, isn't he?
He's French as well.
French. Benzema. I feel like I'm missing a key player. Exactly. And they're similar. You know what I mean? So I feel like he'll feel more at home there. But the one guy I want, and I said crazy, people have called me mad, but I do feel he could be England's best ever midfielder one day if he just applied himself correctly. I want Bellingham, but Dortmund aren't going to sell him this summer. They're just not. They're not going to sell their two biggest.
Like the player that we kind of need is someone that's able to dribble with the ball and play those through balls, and he fits that. He fits that so well. And another player
on the hand. I feel like I know you're going to say because there's another 8, but I'm going to let you go first because you may even say him.
I'm not too sure about him because of his nationality and our history with his nationality.
Did you give him a B? This is why we just think this. And also, we're a club of values, and you know he's got I think his case got a journey. It's been pushed back. And a club like us signing someone, if he is found guilty, it just wouldn't be right for the club. And that's why I've been patient on that. But Ram, that is exactly who we need.
But he's always been saying that he wanted to play for Arsenal for some reason. I don't know why.
I think he was an Arsenal fan, you know.
Yeah, but if that's his choice and he wants to go to mediocrity, then that's exactly up to him, man.
You're just playing yourself.
Pablo Ads makes a good suggestion. And it's a bit of an out there suggestion. Have you heard of Lucas Paqueta? Plays for Lyon.
Yeah. And he was at Milan.
See,
Pablo, he is a player that I think had a high, because I think he's in his peak now, 26, 27.
He was meant to be the next Kaká.
And he's not really lived up. Because I'll be real, I've not watched. You know what I will say? Because I'm someone that's honest. You get a lot of people that will say things and they haven't even watched the player or they've not recently watched the player. I only watched Paqueta at Milan. I've not seen at Roma. That's at Lyon, sorry. And that's the club he is currently at. Actually, I watched him against West Ham and he did look good. But I think, Pablo, he'll come to us and maybe not do as well. He doesn't seem as dynamic as well, in my opinion.
He's 24.
He's 24?
He's 24. So he's not at his peak yet, but he's on his way to being... Okay, he's turning 24 in August. He's
even 23.
No, he's turning 25 in August. Sorry, 25 in August. 24 turning 25.
That's still a good age.
He's heading to his peak right now.
What do you think of that one? Because whenever I've watched him, there's a player there. Liverpool quality though.
Consistency is not up there. Like when I see the Kaká similarities, I see it. The way he moves and the way he plays is very similar to Kaká. But he's not consistent enough. And we need a starter. We don't need a backup. We need a starter to come in and do the job. Like, I've always said this. I think Henderson's been great for us, but he's just getting older and he can't do the job anymore. And we can't rely on Naby because sometimes he plays like freaking, what's it called? Sometimes he does play like a little bit of Stevie. The way he just passes and moves with the ball and takes shots from long range. But sometimes he's absolutely dog crap. Like he's just so inconsistent and we can't have that in our team. And that's why I say another one, along with Basuma, also starts with a B, is Nico Barella. But the reason why I
This is
don't
what I
want
mean,
him
you're
is
the
because
same.
of Italian player. We don't have a good history with Italian players.
Aquilani,
Balotelli,
exactly.
Dossena, Borini. We haven't
We
had
just don't.
very.
But no, there is a first time for everything, and
Mm,
he, for me, is better than all them players. The only thing is, I think his boyhood Inter won a league the year before last. I feel it's rare nowadays, but I feel he's in that cloth from like Foden, Trent, like your Reece James. I think these are all players that are gonna stay at their boyhood clubs their whole career, unless you're not winning things. But he is Inter kind of in a good stead. They took it to the wire this year. I don't know if he's ready to leave Inter just yet, but we should test the waters. We could maybe put in a bid. But that's another thing. I feel that Inter would ask for ridiculous money. And let's be real, there is a quite financial drought in Italy at the moment. So
it was him and Tonali, one of those two. But like you said, Roms. But the problem with Tonali, he's a Milan boy. His idol was Andrea Pirlo growing up.
Exactly.
In Milan.
Because I've always said, right, you've got a group of players that are the last ones left. That I feel like Foden will always be I can't see Phil Foden ever leaving City, and it's mad to say same way I can't see Mount and James ever leaving Chelsea. I can't see Trent ever leaving us. There's just you still have that kind of core of loyal players. I would have said Rashford, but I think the only way Rashford will leave is if his form doesn't get back to how it used to be. But I do feel like there's a certain group of players that will stay loyal. And from Italy, it is your Tonalis, your Barellas. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm with you. All the names you've named, I would love Nico Barella at us. The progressive ball player. He scores. We need, one thing
scores from long range as well.
Exactly. We need a goal-scoring midfielder, but like you said, not just a goal-scoring midfielder that scores from range, because the only midfielder, you can finish off the sentence. He hardly plays, but what midfielder scores from range since he's been at Liverpool? It's not been often, but he's done it.
Bare squint face, squint face. Like,
there you go.
Bro, number 15, man. It's number 15. It is what it is, and he can take free kicks.
Exactly, because let's be real. Trent, I know he scored free kicks for us, but only one this season against West Ham. As good as it was, it's not really good enough, man.
It could have been, and you know what? That West Ham free, it could have been saved. Looking back on it could have been saved.
It was quite, yeah.
It's quite in the middle. So I think he doesn't. Me and Me and Drifty had a conversation about this. I think his technique is sick, but he doesn't have the bottle to do it in those pressure situations. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. And I think the more pressure he has on taking a free kick when he gets older, he just can't do it. He can't, because remember when he was younger, he used to take them and score quite a few free kicks. But now it's just dried up. And I think it's because of the bottle. I don't think he can do it. But big up Sammy, man, in the comments. I think he's a Madrid fan.
Sammy knows, man. Big up yourself. Because then one player you mentioned on one of Saints streams months ago, and I didn't think of it until you said it, and I thought he would actually be perfect for us. But Conrad Lima, I can hear Conrad Lima as well. The only problem with Lima is, like I said, we speak about goals. He doesn't, from what I've seen, he doesn't score enough. I would have
hit and miss. Very hit and miss.
And then I would have said Sabitzer, but he's had a poor season for Bayern. I don't think Bayern won him. So
he's apparently had a falling out with Nagelsmann as well.
Nagelsmann, yeah.
So it was like you think of it, Nagelsmann's a bit say it will work, but especially when it comes to Lima, like I was talking about him like since last season. Last year he had a horrendous injury, an ankle injury, and it took him out the whole season.
Yeah.
But he did score. He can score bangers at times. I mean, he scored a very good goal against Bayern Munich, but you need consistency. And Barella and Lima, Barella's a well-known long shot taker, and Lima ain't that guy.
There's another player that's been rumorville, for I'll say about the last year, is Frank Kessie, but I don't want Frank Kessie.
I think he's going bastard though. That's the main thing. But going to Pablo's comment. Not gonna lie, this season Dembele has been putting in his crosses in that perfect place for actual number 9. If we get Nunez and him more goals.
And touch wood, Dembele stayed injury-free the last 2-3 months, and that is massive for him. That is massive.
But people have argued that when you go to Spain, their medical staff isn't that great compared to that they are in England.
I've heard that as well.
Because if you think about Hazard's, Hazard, we all know about Hazard's situation behind the scenes, especially when it comes to Mackey's. But when it comes to injuries, it's been kept on going and going and going. And there might be a thing with this.
Correct me if I'm wrong. At Chelsea, I don't remember him ever being injured for more than a game or two.
True, man. But it is what it is. But I'm going to wrap it up here, Rams. I appreciate you coming on.
Big up yourself, Rama. One last comment because Pablo's hit the nail on the head. Just go to one where it says this one because this is what I'm saying about hope, Pablo. What if he comes to us and he just doesn't get it? It's possible because look, Matip and Keita this season. Do you know what I mean? I think we have one of the best medical staff around. I want, if I'm being honest, I want Dembele. I actually want Dembele.
If we get him to cut down his wages to about 130, 120, I'll happily take him.
I would even go as high as 100, no more than 150. I'd go as high as 150.
Because think about it, he is I wouldn't say the right word. He is not a model. He's a sponsored Nike player, Like he's one of the big sponsors.
He's marketable and World Cup winner. He does have clout. Like
he's got his own little verse as well in that song, that France national. That's the song for France. So it is what it is. He is marketable, so it can work, but it's whether we can keep him fit and whether we can get to an agreement. So we have to do all we can to get the job done. But it is what it is, man. And Beijing Pops will say, why would he cut his wages? That's the thing. Why would he? He's on really good wages. Why would he want to cut his wages? But then again, if you think about it, if there is any other team that want to pay the wages that he did, I don't think there's a lot. So
yeah, a lot of teams will look at his injuries and think straight away, we're not going to pay that.
That is true.
And you were saying what 210? It converts to 210 British.
Yeah, 275,000 euros converted to 210,000 pounds.
So if he was to take about I said I would offer him 150. If he was to take a 60 grand pay cut, I think it's possible.
I think
and if we used to add clauses in big bonuses and stuff that performance related, I think we can sway him because it's not like we're a small club, we're a big club, and he knows we will win things.
That's true. That is true. If we can offer him, 200,000 euros would give us 160,000 pounds. Would he accept that? So he would be on the same wages as around Fabinho and people like that, and Hendo, I think. So we'll see, man. But that's a good point. Can his body manage our pressure?
That is a
We
very
have to wait
good
and
point.
see. We'll have to.
The only way I'll combat that, just before Ram wraps up, is Klopp's Dortmund team's pressed, and he was rarely injured at Dortmund. I think when Tuchel took over, he was, but in Klopp's team, I think he'll need That's another thing. This is key. If we get them better, it needs to be now, so he can have a full preseason under his belt.
I don't think he played under Klopp. Because Klopp wanted to sign him for Liverpool before he went to Dortmund.
He never played under Klopp.
But you could argue Tuchel's Dortmund was a lot more press fanatic than Klopp's.
So it might have bad. I could have swore he played under. Maybe I got confused because Klopp's a big admirer, and I know they both came from Dortmund.
He wanted, because Dembele was almost wanting to join us, but then he was like, "I'm not going to get game time, and I want to learn my trade. I don't want to go to the Premier League just yet." So it is what it is. But I think if we do get him in, I think it would be a good signing. And plus, when it comes to the press, not a lot of people will play properly against us now. They will park the bus. So we need that individual brilliance in games. So there are times where the press might not be, I won't say relevant, but might not be effective compared to last season. So we'll just have to wait and see, man. It's gonna be a big summer for Liverpool football and all the top 6 teams. But hopefully, ideally for me, we can get in minimum 3 players: a backup right back, a centre midfielder / DM, and a forward. Well, now it's 4. We need 2 forwards, but yeah.
Exactly.
Big up yourself, Roms. I thank you for coming on, man. I know it's last minute and everything. Yeah, man. And big up everyone in the chat, Pablo and Bejan Pops. And yeah, if you're still here, like and subscribe, share it on the socials, and get it out there to everybody around. Your mum, your dad, your grandma, your granddad, your siblings, your dog, your cat, whatever. Just get it out there. We're starting to grow. And yeah, we move. Is another decent season for Liverpool, but time to look forward to the transfer window and next season, man. But yeah, take care, everybody, and we'll see you later.